I stopped playing the following cozy games for a multitude of reasons. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Peyton. It is nice to meet you, it is nice to see you, and welcome to the corner. So I play a lot of cozy games on this YouTube channel, and I've noticed that ever since I've really been focusing on new cozy game releases, there are a lot, if not the majority of the games I play a singular time, enough to make content about the game, and then I move on to the next. So there are actually a lot of games I have not played in a long time, but this video is not gonna be about those games that I just made a video about, I loved, and then I haven't had a chance to revisit. Today's video is going to be cozy games that I stopped playing, either because I didn't like them, they didn't keep my attention enough, or I felt like I could get everything I could out of the game. As always, I just want to say, just because I don't like a game or if I have a negative opinion about a game, it does not mean a game is bad and that you are not allowed to enjoy it. In fact, I don't think any of these games on the list are bad, so feel free to absolutely disagree with me, but just remember there are tons of cozy games to go around and it's okay for us not to like the same ones. Before we get into today's video, please be sure to click the lovely little like button, as well as subscribe for more cozy, chaotic content. And if you want to see me play cozy games live, I live stream right on this YouTube channel several times a week, and we would love to see you at a stream. Okay, I will shut up and let's get into the cozy games I am no longer playing. Starting off with one of the first cozy games I tried that I didn't really like. I pretty much started getting into the world of cozy gaming last fall. I started this channel only playing Animal Crossing, that was my first ever cozy game, and right around the fall is when I started trying other games. This game was a game I was so beyond excited about, and I just was really disappointed by. This game is called Bear and Breakfast. Bear and Breakfast has been out on PC for a while, but it came to Switch last fall, and that is how I played it. I made an entire review video a while ago about Bear and Breakfast, so if you want to see my thoughts a little bit further, go and check that out. Let me tell you just a little bit about Bear and Breakfast before I tell you why I decided to kind of stop playing it. Bear and Breakfast is a cozy management game where you play as Hank, a young, adorable bear who pretty much leaves home for the first time and starts to make a life for himself and his friends. He runs into a pretty sketchy shark businessman who gives him the opportunity to open bed and breakfasts all around the forest, trying to rake in money from human visitors. And along the way, it's your job to follow the adventure, meet tons of characters, and mainly to open tons of different bed and breakfasts. The description of this game had me sold. Cute bear, bed and breakfast, in the middle of the woods, say absolutely less. And I first played this game when it came to Switch. I had seen people talk about the PC version. I heard people absolutely loved it. So when I sat down to check out Bear and Breakfast for the first time on Switch, I actually didn't think I would have any negative thing to say about it because I knew it was so well loved. But I found that I just really didn't enjoy the game as much as I wanted to. And for Bear and Breakfast, I think the main reason I stopped playing it was because I had created this other idea of what I thought the game was going to be about. Perhaps this was because I was newer to management style games, and if I were to try the game now, maybe I would enjoy it a lot more. But I really thought the focus on this game was going to be about decorating the bed and breakfasts, and also getting more interaction from the hotel experience. I was really disappointed to see in this game that the bed and breakfast didn't really have a lot of life in it. It just kind of felt like we didn't get to talk to the humans, they were just these lifeless individuals that came and went. We needed to do some basic tasks to make sure that they liked their stay, but being that the game was called Bear and Breakfast, I thought that the game would center more on the bed and breakfast experience. Now I will say the customizations for the bed and breakfasts were super cute, but I found myself not being able to enjoy it because the controls on Switch made the game, in my opinion, kind of unplayable. The controls were so difficult to master that the most fun parts of the game felt kind of ruined to me because I struggled so hard to do the simplest thing of like trying to make the room size bigger or something like that. And while I do think that the game had tutorial, I don't think the tutorial was as seamless as it could have been, and overall it was more of a story-centric adventure game than I kind of thought it to be. I definitely don't think Bear and Breakfast is a bad game at all, but because of my frustration with the controls, and because of my kind of skewed idea of what I thought the game was going to be versus what it actually was, it's one of the ones that I find myself not really playing anymore. I will say this is one I definitely would love to give another chance to now that I've experienced a lot more cozy games, but being that I test so many games, honestly, it's hard to revisit a lot of the ones I've played, so I'm more likely to revisit the ones I knew that I loved right from my first impression. That's why I do first impression reviews so much on this channel, because there are so many games out there. I feel like if a game does not hook you in those first couple hours, you're probably not gonna go back to it. The next game on the list is a newer released game. I had such high hopes for this one, and it was another one that just really didn't do it for me as far as my expectations go. And this was a cozy game that I stopped playing mainly because it didn't hold my interest compared to cozy games of a similar style. This game is called Everdream Valley. Now, I played Everdream Valley live on stream, and I also reviewed it as a part of my May Cozy Games review, so if you want to see and hear more thoughts about the game, go check those out. Everdream Valley, in case you're unfamiliar, is a cozy farming sim game that has just come out recently, where it pays a major focus on the animals rather than the actual farming part. In this game, there are tons of different animals for you to interact with, from dogs and cats to farm animals like cows, chickens, and more. All of the animals in the game are super great and super adorable, but the whole thing that makes this game unique is that once you acquire more animals, at night on the farm, you'll actually be able to do these nighttime mini games where you get to dream as one of the different animals you've inherited. So maybe you'll spend one night as a cat, and then maybe you'll spend one night as a cow. Pretty much, it's a farming sim game that's all about magical dreams and animals. I love the premise of this game. I am always looking for farming sim games with a twist. Not that I don't love just a classic farming sim, here we are, it's a normal town, there's no magic, you need to run the farm. That's fine, but we've seen so much of that, so every time I see a farming sim game with a twist, specifically I love magic in games, I get really excited. Everdream Valley I thought was such a unique premise because I really was interested in seeing the animals take center stage, because in so many farming sim games, the animals are kind of just an afterthought. Like, yeah, I bought my little horses, they're just here, but I really need to go and do XYZ thing. I'm here for the romance, I'm here for the plot, I'm here for whatever. So I was really excited to see the animals be the primary part of this game. But this was another one I just was really disappointed in. If you watch my live stream of me playing this, I was all over the place, starting out so excited about the game and then just increasingly just getting a little disappointed. And that was mainly because the game just felt so empty to me. There were also tons of bugs when I played the game, specifically with some of the mini games, and the tutorial just taking so many hours, to the point of it takes like over 5 hours to even get to the fun magic animal dreaming part that I think is, you know, the main feature of the game. I felt like overall this farming sim just left me feeling empty compared to other ones. And that's because there is no town in this one, it is just Grandma and Grandpa's house, the farm, and then a merchant who sells things, and that's it. There's no other NPCs, there's no village for you to go into, just an open-ish world of grass and nature, which is very pretty and very fun to run around in. I just feel like I compare farming sim games so close to each other just because when they do have similar mechanics and they are at similar price tags, I do find myself just feeling like, okay, well this is cute, but in this farming sim, I can do all of this stuff and then a million more things. So that's why I was really looking for the dreaming and the animals to stand out more to me in this one, because I thought that was going to be the one thing that does separate this one from other farming sim games. That being said, I don't think it's a bad farming sim. I think it's one that you need to invest some time into to get to some of the more fun bits. It definitely has a slow start, and I just haven't been reaching for it because I had different expectations of what it was going to be, and farming sim games are the toughest ones for me because I start farming in one game and I'm just like fantasizing about my other favorite farming sim games that I kind of wish I was playing instead. Continuing on with our farming sim games that I enjoyed but didn't enjoy enough to continue playing, this next one kind of falls into that category as well. This game is called Song of the Prairie. I also played Song of the Prairie on live stream, and I also reviewed it in my April Cozy Game review video, so check it out if you're interested. Song of the Prairie is another farming sim game, but the twist on this one is everything is magic and larger than life. Of course, by now we've got tons of magic-based farming sim games, but the whole draw on this one was the giant crops, the beautiful 3D huge world, and also the really cutesy character designs. Now, all of this sounds great. The thing that I was most excited about was, of course, the giant oversized crops. I was really excited about this feature because sometimes I struggle in some of my favorite farming sim games to see that I'm doing all of the farming sim, but just was disappointed in being in the actual world, and I didn't really feel a calling to go back and explore more. The next cozy game on the list is a game that I wouldn't say I disliked. It's just a game that really didn't catch my attention enough, and I feel like I haven't heard anybody talk about this game since it released, so I think it might not just be me. This game is called Akka. I also streamed Akka, and I also reviewed it last year, so there's also content on Akka as well on the channel. But in case you're unfamiliar with Akka, Akka is a cozy game that came out last year, and it follows the story of a red panda who has just come back from fighting in a war, leaving a life of war for a more tranquil life. There is farming in this one, light exploration, and mini games, and it's pretty much just aiming to be a meditative and chill space. Now, Akka, like all of these, was not a bad game. I did not play Akka and think, I don't like this. I actually think I ended my stream playing Akka feeling okay about it. But I think the problem with Akka was it was a little bit clunky on Nintendo Switch, which is how I played it. I did run into a lot of bugs, and I also just felt like there wasn't anything to do, / no one told me what to do. So I felt like I would have been able to get around the constant crashes and bugs that were in the game, especially because it had just released when I played it, if there was more of a semblance of a story to what was going on. I kind of felt like I didn't understand how anything was going. Like the crops, I felt like I had no gauge on how long the crops were taking to grow. Some of the mini games, I did not understand the rules to at all, and I just didn't feel like there was a strong point. The description of the game really did make it feel like we were going from this crazy and chaotic lifestyle and really going to be tranquil and meditative and adopt this new lifestyle. And the game is definitely really calming and relaxing, but I feel like it's almost too minimalistic for my personal taste, and I just felt like there wasn't enough to do to keep me going back to it. Now, I definitely would be interested in checking out Akka again. I really like the aesthetic of the game and the overall idea of it. Just the execution, I was hoping for a little bit more to capture my attention. Okay, the next game on the list I do have a lot to say about, and I know people will disagree with me, and that's okay, but just hear me out, okay? The next game on the list is Disney Dreamlight Valley. Now, I played Disney Dreamlight Valley multiple times on live stream right when it came out last year, as well as I did make a review video on the game. The review video feels like super nostalgic now, but I did rewatch it, and I think most of the points that I said in that video, I still feel. In case you're unfamiliar with Disney Dreamlight Valley, let me tell you a little bit about the game. Disney Dreamlight Valley is a life and farming sim game that follows you as someone who lives in Dreamlight Valley, a place where there are tons of Disney characters who have totally forgotten who they are, and it's your job to help them recover their memories, figure out what the heck happened, and also enjoy farming, decorating, and other classic life sim elements. Okay, so Disney Dreamlight Valley, I don't like, but out of any other game I've ever played, I have never wanted to like a game more than this one. I just, no matter how many times I play it, I can't get into it. I stopped playing it. after a bunch of hours of testing it out, and I just never really got over the things that bothered me. So let me tell you a little bit why, and also I kind of have some more updated opinions on why I have not played this game again. So pretty much my main complaints for the game, as someone who was playing on Nintendo Switch, which now in retrospect I realize I just shouldn't have purchased on Switch, I should have purchased it on PC, but I did not know. The game was so difficult to manage on Nintendo Switch, from it crashing repeatedly, to the game being able to be completely destroyed if your game is not set on real life time. Mine wasn't, I didn't know that when I started the game. And also, just really clunky controls across the board. That was one thing, and then overall, the actual gameplay of the game just felt so grindy and fetch questy to me for no reason. I really didn't feel like there was much of a payoff to leveling up my friendships with the NPCs, as well as I felt like a lot of the time I was just kind of like mindlessly running around, not really sure of what I was meant to do next. I will say the game has amazing customization options and really cute decorations. However, in my playthrough, I never seemed to get any of the good stuff, and my shops never changed at all. Despite all of these things, I think looking at it now, my biggest issue with Disney Dreamlight Valley is I think the game rubs me the wrong way in the way that it's being handled. This game came out for early access last year, and it's meant to at some point be a free-to-play game. We have no semblance of an idea of when it's going to be a free-to-play game, but in the meantime, you could choose to play the game in early access by paying for it at multiple different price points. And the different price points will give you some different features in the game. Mainly, they're all cosmetic things. Now, I already argued in my first review video that I didn't think the price was justified, specifically if you're purchasing the more expensive packs. But that was just my opinion. I totally understand wanting to have the cute items and wanting to go all out, especially if you are a Disney fan. However, since this has happened, Disney Dreamlight Valley has started to come out with tons of different microtransaction things in the game, most of which have been cosmetic at this point, and I'm totally okay with this for a free-to-play game. But the game isn't free. And I know what you're saying, Peyton, it will be free, it will be free. I just feel like this game is preying on the Disney nostalgic fans and creating such an intense amount of fear of missing out that you purchase the game and you don't wait. They do so many updates, so many new items, so many paid additions now that it makes people who are and have been waiting for the free version feel like by the time they get to play the game, they've missed out on all of the stuff. I do know that Disney Dreamlight Valley is going to have opportunities in-game for you to be able to like make the moonstones to get some of the cool cosmetic stuff, which I think is great. It just rubs me the wrong way that they're doing this now rather than working on finishing the game so it's out for its full version. I feel like it would have been fine for them to just not have it be a free-to-play game and be like, yeah, this is our $30 game, and now if you want to buy extra things, you can, rather than having this kind of weird promise of, oh yeah, it will be free to play, you just need to wait, but in the meantime, here's all of this really great stuff everyone else can have. I don't know if that bothers you guys. I think it's totally fine to spend your money on whatever makes you happy, and a lot of the stuff they're putting out does seem really cool. That's why I always say I have the biggest, like, fear of missing out on this game, because I do see that the community is so driven, so loving in this game, and it seems as though they do listen to their players and add in a lot of really cool cosmetic stuff, as well as they hear the complaints about the, playability and the bugs and stuff. I'm not quite sure how many of those bugs have been fixed at this current moment, but it seems like they're aware of them and are promising to really make a bunch of changes to the game. For myself, I've tried to get into this game so many times. I really like decorating games, so I really like seeing all of the different things that people create. I just don't like the storyline enough, nor the characters, nor the gameplay mechanics to really get invested in it. I think it'll be something I do try again when it is the free version on PC instead of Nintendo Switch, just because I can't justify right now paying again for a game that's meant to be free, that I already paid for on Switch, but it doesn't run good on Switch at all, or at least in my opinion. I can't justify purchasing it yet again because I know I don't like it, so I'll definitely have to give it another go once it's free and give you guys my updated review on it. The actual gameplay itself and the way that the game is being handled is not really something that draws me to keep playing it. And the final game on the list is my most played cozy game ever. And I didn't stop playing this game because I didn't like it or I don't like it. I simply have stopped playing this one because I think I've gotten everything there is to get out of it. And in case you've been around this channel for a while, you probably already know this game is called Animal Crossing New Horizons. This channel primarily started as an Animal Crossing New Horizons channel, so there's tons of content of me playing it in case you want to see more, but in case you're not familiar with Animal Crossing New Horizons, pretty much it is a Nintendo Switch exclusive game that has your character move to an abandoned island. And pretty much you get to build up the island however you like with so many customizations. You get to meet different villager friends, and the villagers are adorable animals with different personality types, and there's over 400 of them. And pretty much it's just your goal to get a famous musician to come over to your island once it's good enough for him to play, and then from there it's pretty much just a customization heavy game. Now, when I first played Animal Crossing New Horizons, I absolutely loved every single second of it. I really like games that I can decorate and be creative, and this was one that really said, here, you can do anything you want. And with the updates that we did get when we got them, I felt like the game had so much promise and so much to offer. And I'm actually not in the camp of people who think that Animal Crossing New Horizons didn't get enough updates or didn't get enough content. I more than feel like I got my $60 out of the game and then more. I'm okay with there not being any more updates and hoping that they're working on putting even more stuff into the next game. But I stopped playing this game because there was nothing else for me to do. I felt what I really tried to do, especially on this channel, was create super unique island themes, because that's what kept me interested. After you get KK Slider to move to your island, you can do some other things in-game, like finish your Critterpedia and catch every fish and bug in the game and fossils. Or you can try your best to get every single DIY recipe. There aren't that many things in the game itself to do, other than customize your island. And so I set out to do really different crazy themes to push my creativity and to push the game's limits with what I could make. So I went ahead and I terraformed crazy shapes into my islands, like terraforming the Starry Night painting into an island, or terraforming a volcano, or a rat, or all of this crazy stuff that I was doing. And after a while, I just felt like every time I would start a new island, it just felt like, all right, here I am using the exact same items, just trying to use them in a different way, starting an island from beginning to ending it, to then starting again, villager hunting, starting an island, completing it. That's it. And I think just after a while of there not being any new items specifically, I just kind of felt like, yeah, this is the same thing. I will say the community-driven games that people have created have really helped me stay interested in Animal Crossing, specifically things like Sabotage League and Scavenger League by Nintentalk and Bewick, and other different Animal Crossing challenges that people come up with, like no time traveling, no terraforming. All that stuff I think is really fun to keep the game fresh and exciting. But I just think after a while, without that stuff, playing the base game, once you've done everything, you kind of do just hit this point of, all right, I've done everything. And I still like Animal Crossing. I still am planning on playing it more, finishing the islands that I've started. But I think for me, I'm just so interested in trying new things. New things are capturing my attention. I've gotten to the point where I know what Animal Crossing is. I know what to expect. I've done it so many times. I've really pushed it to the limits, I think. And while I do still enjoy it, I am just more excited to try new games and try to find a game that I can put as much as I put into Animal Crossing, because I put so much love and time into that one. So I'm always looking for another game to really give me that same early Animal Crossing feeling. And there you guys have it. That was my list of a few cozy games that I played, but I kind of stopped playing. I always have the hope that if you purchase a game that you will love it. So I don't want to ever hear people be upset or disappointed with the games that they purchase. So if you love these games, I'm glad for you, because then your money was worth spent and you got everything you could out of the game, and that's always what we want. So let me know down below, what did you think about these games that I mentioned, and let me know, what games have you stopped playing? It is so easy to get wrapped up in the next big game that we forget about the games of the past, so I want to know your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to click the lovely little like button, as well as subscribe for more cozy, chaotic content. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!